Hello. First of all, welcome at the virtual lunch debate to Hear for Life, Listen with Care at the European Parliament. I'm very happy I can introduce the WHO Global Standard for Safe Listening Venues and Events. I'm in charge of the European Association of Hearing Aid Professionals and co-host of the Make Listening Safe workgroup. You have heard that Dr. Shelley Shada has introduced the global standard for safe listening venues and events in her talk, but we will go more in detail. So you will see that there are key aspects, 6 of them. The first one is limiting the sound levels, and the level has been set at 100 dBA averaged over 15 minutes. Next one is guidelines and information how to monitor those sound levels. Sound engineers do a very good job into handling this, but they need very clear and very practical information how to do this right. And then also we need to optimize the venue acoustics and the sound systems, because you need to ensure good sound quality and also a design that makes it possible to ensure safe listening in combination with experiencing wonderful sound. Number 4 is making personal hearing protection available. You will see that the levels that are set, maximum levels for venues, are too high to listen without any protection. So that is why hearing protection is essential to make listening safe. Another aspect is to make sure that quiet zones are available. We know that people like to be in quiet zones from time to time, but it has to be organized and planned, and that's why it's there. And then the 6th and last point is to provide training and information and also label venues and in different situations as safe listening venues and experiences. Now let's start with point 1 in detail. So feature 1 is the sound level limit. The level has been set to 100 dB averaged in dBA over 15 minutes. Now we have some examples in Europe how this is already done. In Belgium, Brussels, they have also set 100 dBA, but then averaged over 60 minutes, which is a little more difficult to handle, because if you need to check if the levels is correct, you would need to stay there for 60 minutes to be able to measure. And they have also set a second level, which is another weighting, which takes more care of low frequencies, that's DBC, and they also set a level that has to be under 150 dB. In Flanders, Belgium, they also measure 15 minutes average, but they took 102 dBA. In France, they also use 102 dBA, but then over 15 minutes. And in Switzerland, they have 100 dBA over 60 minutes. So you see, they come all quite close to what they are doing. Now, it's very important that WHO can set a global standard. It makes it a lot easier for a lot of countries to really introduce new regulations and make sure they can be based on the evidence of a very trustworthy source, the World Health Organization. You will see that during this presentation of the Safe Listening Venue Standard, we also will refer to a very recent but high quality publication that was published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, which states attitudes towards safe listening measures in entertainment venues, results from an international survey among young venue goers. And you will here see the different authors. The good thing is that you're able to access this article easily because it's open access, and you find it on this link we will definitely share at the end of this presentation. Now, what did that survey do? In fact, they have had in total 2,264 individuals, so young venue goers, and you see the age between 16 and 35 years. 65% was female. And most of the participants were from the African and Western Pacific region, but they were recruited from all over the world. And they all completed this online questionnaire. Now, one of the questions was, should entertainment venues be free to decide at which level to play music, right? Should we set standards or should we give them liberty? And here you see the result. In fact, 53 of the participants at the survey stated that the entertainment venues should not be free to decide at which levels to play music. So they agree, they all say that in fact the majority says that they are in favor of making sure that we have implemented regulations. So a standard like this makes a lot of sense. The second point is how to monitor the sound levels. You will find key elements, measurement equipment and procedures, and measurement position and the use of a correction. The Audio Engineering Society has already worked on a lot of documents, and a lot of these key professionals and experts from that Audio Engineering Society have really helped to create this topic and this part of the safe listening standard. And you see right away, it's important to use the correct equipment. It's important how to set it up, how to measure it correctly. So that is very practical and very clear to help sound engineers to do this right and to make it easier for them to implement this standard correctly. Third point, venue acoustics and sound system designs. And in this topic, you will see that it's important to make sure that all the venues are really designed for sound quality and for safe listening. And there, the standard treats, of course, the key elements, the venue acoustics, room modes, acoustics of the stage area, acoustics of outdoor venues, sound system design, exclusion zones in front of loudspeakers, and management of on-stage sound. Now let us give an example. You may have seen that in a huge venue that you see these very loud, big loudspeakers in front. They have huge energy, but the issue is that the people in front are exposed to a lot of very heavy and very loud sounds, while the ones at the rear get a much lower sound level. Now for the ones in the rear, that is not nice because they don't hear enough, but for the ones in front, it's traumatic for their ears. So here it's symbolized by the eggs, and the eggs are cracking. It's a typical symbol we use a lot in Make Listening Safe. Now how to do it right? And here you see those very specific loudspeakers that are hanging much higher, and they distribute the sound evenly over the whole area, which makes it more comfortable for the people in front. Here it's not too loud, but also a much better sound experience for the one at the rear, because they will also have a good level of sound. And you may have seen these very special loudspeakers hanging on stages to evenly distribute the sound over the whole venue, which makes a lot of sense. And then feature 4, personal hearing protection. Now, why should personal hearing protection be used? You see that in the standard, the sound level needs to be below 100 dBA, LAQ 15 minutes averaged. But if you then look at the other Make Listening Safe standards from the World Health Organization and from ITU, the weekly exposure should not exceed 80 dBA for 40 hours. So there's a mismatch of 20 dB. And that's exactly why earplugs need to help attenuate that level by about 20 dB. And you see that, and then they are at a safe level, or at least that is the maximum level at which you want people to listen. And then you are sure that this is mostly the case. Most hearing protection is doing that job. Now the question is, and the issues we see, that a lot of young people don't like using hearing protection. And you also see that in that survey. So is using earplugs interfering with the enjoyment of music? And here you see the results, and yes, indeed, 52% of the participants stated that earplugs do interfere with their enjoyment of music. So that's an issue. The other question is, do I think that earplugs are uncomfortable? And here again, you see that the majority, or at least 49%, states clearly that earplugs are uncomfortable. And that's an issue because when we are implementing standards, we want also to make it possible that we can change behavior. So that is why we have set a study at our Thomas More University College in Antwerp, the audiology department, where we measured different types of hearing protection. So on the one hand, you see here the orange line or the yellow line. That is typically the foam hearing protection you get normally free of charge at music venues. And they do attenuate very well, because the higher the more attenuation, but they attenuate a little too much at the high frequencies. The green line and the other ones we evaluated are called high fidelity earplugs. They typically use music filters, and they will make sure that they have a flat response around at the high frequencies, which makes the enjoyment of music better and typically also makes them more comfortable. And that's what you will see in the outcome of this study. So the first thing we evaluated, how about the music sound quality? What is the experience? They all had to listen with the different types of earplugs in. And you see that the yellow-orange bar is the lowest, giving the poorest rating on the sound quality, while the highest is here the green one, which is custom-made hearing protection with music filters. The ones in between, doing better than foam, they are these instant fit hearing protection systems, and most of them also have what you call high fidelity or music filters. So they make it a lot more comfortable, or at least a lot better to experience the sound quality. And in use comfort, it's about the same. So we evaluated all of that. They had to listen to their own voice, have to have those earplugs in for a while, rate the comfort, and then you see exactly the same result. The yellow bar, right, the disposable foam hearing protection has the lowest rating, while custom-made has the highest, and here instant fit high fidelity plugs are in between, so also giving a very good comfort. So that is why we do agree that foam hearing protection, disposable hearing protection, may be an issue in function of music sound quality and may be an issue in function of comfort, but that can easily be solved by using high fidelity earplugs. Now the question is, are people willing to pay for that? And that was also part of what was in the survey. I wouldn't mind having to pay for hearing protection. And then you see that we have a very positive result. Half of the participants was clearly ready to pay for hearing protection. Now that's maybe good, because if you have your own set of reusable hearing protection, you have multiple benefits. On the one hand, the benefit is that you will enjoy the music better, that you will be able to get more comfort. So the chance that you will use it more is much higher. On the other hand, it's also much more sustainable, because you have your own set, so you don't need to throw away any hearing protection, because typically the foam hearing protection is thrown away and lands in the waste. You can use your own set of instant fit or custom-made hearing protection for multiple years in a row, and you always have them at hand. So why not do a good thing cause for the environment, right? Make it sustainable and have your own set of hearing protection available. Please consult your hearing care professional to get the best guideline or get them in a quality provider of hearing protection. And then quiet zones. That's kind of a new idea, because we didn't see that in many local regulations, but it seems to make a lot of sense. So quiet zones can help you a lot. Here you see a graph showing the time spent in a quiet zone, which typically needs to be, of course, significantly softer, lower level than 80, preferably 70 dB A level, which is comfortable to use. And you see the more time you spend in such a quiet zone, the lower, of course, your relative sound dose will be, which is not so surprising. That's also the result and the outcome of this evaluation. So in turn, this can result in a reduced risk of hearing injury when you have quiet zones available. So would the participants at the study like to have them? So here it states, I would appreciate having a place within the entertainment venue where I can rest my ears. And yes, for sure, 82% of all participants really would like to have a place within the entertainment venue where they can rest their ears. It's appreciated, and a lot of people, the vast majority, really wants to have that. Or having the question put somewhat differently, I do not see the need of having a quiet zone in an entertainment venue. That's kind of a comparable question, right? And here you see that 78% states no. In fact, we do see a need to have a quiet zone in entertainment venues. So here they disagree with the statement. So it means that they really agree that they want to have a safe zone available in entertainment venues. So that is why it's so important to have that implemented in the standard to make sure that this is foreseen. And you will see in the standard there are multiple options how to implement it right and how to make that possible. Because we know it's not always easy, but there are multiple options to come close to this objective. And then the last point is the last feature is the provision of training and information. And of course, that is a key role. Fortunately, there is already a lot of information available from WHO. So there is a lot of information available for training. We have packages of good guidelines on how to listen safe. So training needs to be done for the people working in the venue, but also, of course, training people and the audiences how to use their hearing protection correctly, how to use the safe zones correctly. And also, you may have a label stating that you have a safe listening event. This is an example from Brussels. I think it's the Brussels Environmental Ministry that has created these different labels where people state what is the level that they will make sure to provide, how safe is the environment, and if it's in the red zone, they will automatically provide hearing protection to be sure that you can listen in a safe way. Now we're very happy that all this material is available, but of course there need to be different actions. So on the one hand, we have the Make Listening Safe technical group at the World Health Organization that has been working very hard to create guidelines and standards and to create quality material and make a lot of publications. We also have the World Hearing Forum, where we have the Make Listening Safe workgroup. So the Make Listening Safe workgroup is a promotion group. They make sure that the material isn't only there, but is also brought out, distributed, communicated as far and as widely as possible at conferences, at World Hearing Day, at other aspects doing that. And we have also created a Make Listening Safe LinkedIn group, so please come and join that group where we see the latest information, latest discussions with expert and interested groups. Feel free to join us and come and see us at LinkedIn so we can keep informing you in the best possible way. So thank you for listening to the WHO Global Standard for Safe Listening Venues and Events. So this part was all about prevention and make listening safe. You will hear now from Hard of Hearing Associations, EuroCIU, how they have really used and have helped us to promote safe listening and make sure that this is communicated towards their groups, to their peers, but also to students, to young people, to young ambassadors. You will hear more about that in the next talks. After that, you will also hear much more about awareness. There is a very good guideline from the World Health Organization that hearing screening needs to be implemented for adults globally. And it's important to start doing that from the moment you are 50 years and older. So that is also something that needs to be created. And then you will also hear in the last presentation from WHO Europe, what about intervention, the need of hearing care, why hearing care is such an evidence-based and economic intervention, cost effectiveness is great, so how to do that all. If you want to read more, please visit the AEA website where we have an action plan and we have more information on safe listening. Thank you for your attention.